There's a question in the chat where they're asking, audience member is asking, what kind of sanctions are against Iran by the US? How does this impact the Iranian people? And also, Professor, I'll add to that, these US policies of sanctioning Iran, sanctioning Russia, aren't they just incentivizing countries like Iran and Russia to actually work closer together and become more self-sufficient, independent of the West? Can you comment on that?
Absolutely. The Iranians and the Russians have grown closer to one another, partially because of the sanctions. The US policy has acted as a catalyst to strengthen ties and to strengthen ties with China because the China is increasingly becoming sanctioned, and the Chinese are also fearful that the United States will try to isolate it by sanctioning countries that have good relations with China. So the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, and other countries like Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, uh, they are increasingly working together to find ways to do trade, business and trade without depending on Western financial institutions. And one reason why BRICS has become so important, and we saw how Trump has angrily spoken about uh, BRICS literally hours ago, is because of US policy, is because they want alternatives so that they are not held hostage to the US dollar or financial institutions. But what Trump gets wrong is that BRICS is not trying to establish a currency. They are trying to create mechanisms where, for example, the countries can use their own currencies to do trade, and that's nothing that he can do anything about. The sanctions on Iran are very extensive. They cover everything. They are called maximum pressure sanctions. Literally everything is sanctioned. The Iranians have been blocked from the international financial system. So I cannot use the international financial system to send a single cent to you. And you cannot send a single cent to me through the international financial system. So imagine how that makes trade more difficult. But it's not just that. Goods are sanctioned, trade is sanctioned, investment is sanctioned, everything is sanctioned. Now, the Iranian economy continues to function, but these have caused many difficulties. Pharmaceutical companies that sell uh, Iranians medicine, they will not send them because they're fearful of the sanctions. Iranian pharmaceutical companies that purchase raw materials from abroad, they cannot bring in that material because the ships are sanctioned, because they are sanctioned they're prohibited from using the banking sector, and because the companies are sanctioned, and those companies that deal with Iranian pharmaceutical countries are fearful of being sanctioned. So it's sanctions everywhere, and it's like a minefield. Of course, companies in Iran, business in Iran have adjusted, and they've decreased their dependence on Western economies and do more business with the global South. And they find ways and means to do business by circumventing these sanctions, but it still makes life more difficult, and people do die as a result. But now that you see the United States using sanctions against more countries, including Russia, as mentioned before, it has become easier for Iran. The oil sector is sanctioned. The gas sector is sanctioned. And that, of course, hurts the Iranian economy. It hurts the global economy because it raises the price of fuel. But in any case, the United States governments have all pursued a similar policy. Actually, the maximum pressure sanctions were first introduced by Obama. And Trump's criticism of Obama was that after the nuclear deal, he decreased some of those sanctions, even though Obama never uh, he never fulfilled his obligations within the framework of the nuclear deal with Iran, and he cheated Iran, whereas the Iranians fully implemented the deal. But in any case, Trump was critical of Obama. So it's not that Trump actually initiated these sanctions, it was Obama. Trump reinforced them, and under Biden, uh, the policy continued.